Again, a very special time of year, a very special celebration. Many lights, many celebrations, many voices combined into one divine flame. So for the homily this morning, the ISD Ministers wanted to do something just a little bit different. So you heard from Story in her beautiful meditation about our lights. And now the rest of us will be speaking on the subject of light and what it means to us. So we're going to start the homily today with our own pastor, Reverend Diana Friedel.
Good morning. It was Christmas night. I was about 12 years old. All the gifts had been opened, candy canes devoured, songs had been sung, the kitchens scoured, by the women, of course, after a wonderful dinner. I grew up with 6 brothers and sisters, so the hubbub of holiday celebrations was huge and exhausting. I stole a moment away to myself from the family gathering and went to my shared bedroom where I could have it to myself for a moment. I turned off all the lights in my bedroom so I could see the glowing light from the little gift I had received from our Methodist minister, Reverend Sickberg, a gift for finishing confirmation classes. Of all the presents I had received, this was the most magical because it was the first time I had ever seen glow-in-the-dark technology. What was it? Well, if you were someone who received a Bible for being confirmed, what would you guess was the glow-in-the-dark item? And if you said cross, you were right, a glow-in-the-dark cross. I had memorized the words required to be confirmed, the Apostles' Creed and the Lord's Prayer, and recited them at the confirmation ceremony, making my parents proud like a good girl, as did all my brothers and sisters. And if you had a similar Sunday school background that my family had, you may recall the words memorized included, I believe in God, the Father Almighty, and that Jesus Christ was conceived by the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary. All very magical sentiments that we celebrate on Christmas Day, but it is very, very hard for a skeptical 12-year-old to wrap her head around. After all, they had fibbed to me about Santa Claus. But I recited the words anyway, and I got this amazing gift. What happened when I turned off all the lights and experienced my surroundings with only the light of the glow? I sat very still and felt the light, felt a larger light descending, like there were the very angels who announced Jesus' birth lighting up my room. The light was magnified and radiated out from the mirror. I sat in that loving, overwhelming presence for a good half hour and felt wrapped in angelic energy before a sibling's loud banging on the door bumped me off my heavenly cloud. I think I just wanted to have some divine experience that might prove to me that those words I recited for confirmation had an element of truth to them. After all, we all argued with our poor minister on several of those points and were never quite totally satisfied. And what I received, rather than proof of the veracity of those particular words, was an experience, a feeling of light, of being surrounded and protected with some kind of divine light, which was not to be repeated for me until my first child, Russ, was born 20 years later. I have expanded my perceptions of the memorized words I recited with my brothers at age 12. And notice I didn't say I've thrown them out entirely, because I actually did have to look them up. I had to Google them because not many of those words are any longer in my brain. But I didn't throw them out. my understanding from a spiritualist and metaphysical viewpoint 40 years later is that Jesus was a master teacher from a group of teachers helping humanity to evolve, and is still available to those on a spiritual path and helping us along the way. You can actually hear that whole metaphysical interpretation of Christmas at our ISD National Christmas Eve service this Friday at 7:30 on Zoom from all the ministers from all 5 chapters around the United States. But how we interpret the circumstances around Jesus' birth and death are not the important part of his teachings. And it doesn't matter if we all have the same beliefs. What is important is that we all take time during this very sacred season to experience and celebrate the light, the joy, or source energy, the source of all creation, and experience ourselves as a spark of that divine light. To feel with confidence that we are divinely guided and that we are all one, no matter which light festival we celebrate. Diwali, Hanukkah, solstice, Yule, Kwanzaa, Christmas, we are all united in the light. And I'll pass the light now back to Renee.
Yes, you will. Actually, we're going to pass the light over to Miss Reverend Amanda Hoover.
Myself unmuted. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
So this morning for me, talking about the light, for me, I've always experienced it most through meditation and divine connection with other. And Diana mentioned the birth of her children, and there's something so divinely powerful about that moment and gestation and being a portal as a woman for the light to come through into earth is a beautiful mystical experience that is very hard to explain and put into words. Before our dear co-founder, sister, friend, daughter, wife, divine mother, Sue, transitioned to the light last year, we had been exchanging some emails as she sat in her backyard, the backyard we like to call the oasis. She was contemplating her beautiful life. I could sense she was having one of those moments where she was looking back, trying to see if she had made an impact with her life's work. And we can all giggle who know her, because what an impact she made. She wrote to me that no matter how hard you try to explain the light, you just can't do it. I often contemplate those words that she wrote to me. I think what she meant is that it isn't so much about talking, but an experience of ecstatic bliss and oneness with all. Sue saying this made me laugh, because if there was anyone I knew who could explain the light through light language, stream of consciousness, it was her. I think she would now agree. I dedicate this to her legacy of the power of her word and her energetic presence to explain and foster in others the experience of light. If you could all breathe in very slowly with me as we do this together. Through the natural flow of the portal of our breath, like the waxing and waning of the moon, the tides of the ocean flowing in and out. As the light enters, we remember who we are. We become present in presence. We hold on to nothing, and we release anything that we had been attempting to grasp or control. We energetically shift into truth as the illusions of the monkey mind melt away. We enter into the light. We become the light. Divine truth of what is real, of what is true, of what is right and could never be wrong. Light entering to reveal what had once felt lost, but is now presently found and can always be found again. Love, true, unconditional, devotional, blissful light love, and love light flowing through our being with each breath, where all is clear, where there is and never was fear, where second guessing is gone in seconds, where we step into the garden, where we embody heaven within us, where we no longer feel separate from anyone or anything, where unity is the only truth that can be felt, unity consciousness, the light, the first spark of creation in the womb of no thing, just as the fertilized egg of a divine soul choosing a human experience. From the one egg in the womb, forming into two, then 4, then 8, the 6 days of creation of Genesis, resting here in who we truly are on the 7th day. In the days of creation of the Vesica Pisces, where one become two, holding the divine wisdom of knowing that two are always only ever one, that 4 are one, that 8 are one, we are all one, choosing to have an experience in the physical with our divine other selves, self with a capital S, our divine counterparts, our twin flames, our twin soul, and 7 billion others, humanity, all from one, eternally forming the seed of life, flower of life, tree of life, infinite fractals of this beautiful divine code throughout the multiverse, in our DNA, our cells, humanity as one tree, the trees as one tree, providing sustenance as we breathe out, and the tree breathes in, completing photosynthesis. A beautiful resonant dance of love and light felt throughout all of the planetary bodies, the star systems, and the constellations, the galaxies, and the multiverse. This God particle of photonic light that holds code for the makeup of the entire creation, as our DNA for our entire body, one code, flocks of birds in harmony, swimming dolphins, divine orchestra strumming harmonic resonance of light codes. We all hold this divine genome within that flows through a cosine wave function as nature's breath of life emanates through us. No matter how many trees of life we create, how many times a cell divides, a family grows, a star system is born, the divine light is within all. It unifies us all. It is always ever present in all to connect to, always there to share with others, as we do in our metaphysical community here at ISD, through fellowship, through meditation circles, through the energy and communion of our services, through our neighbors, our families, our towns, our country, planet, through the portal of our heart. Let us remember through our breath, our pause, our gratitude, this unity of all as we enter the holiday season. Intentionally holding in our hearts, receiving and giving of its sustenance to all self of you and you and others, all one. The rainbow bridge story talked about, from your high heart to all. Breathe in nature's love and feel into the word. I am the Christ light, and because I am, so are you. And because you are, so am I. If I see you believe you are not, then how could I be? And if I believe I am not, then how could you be? For all is from I am, and so it then is. Above, below, left, right, within and outer. I am the word, and the word is me. And from the word, let it be. The light, let there be light. As unity bears no separation, bearer of light may we forever unite. Our I am, eternal soul, twin soul, I now know in all. I am the moon, and the moon is me. I am the sun, and the sun is me. I am the tree, and the tree is me. I am you, and you are me. We are the galaxy. I am the multiverse, and the multiverse is me. Everything that ever was, is, and will be. All of our realities. I am you, and you are me. With all galactic beings, one big, happy, harmonic family. Happy holidays, everybody.
Beautiful. Thank you, Amanda. And I will pass the light to Reverend Maggie.
Hello, how are you? I'd like to dedicate this to a very dear friend of mine who just passed on Wednesday. Her name was Fairly Nicodemus, and she was a very big light in my life. The light from within and without are codified into oneness with the birth of the winter solstice. It is now at this time we can bring all shadow into the light. We can breathe the light into our hearts. The parts of ourselves we think unworthy, breathe in light. For the wounds we have opened in Mother Earth, breathe in light. The wrongs we have done to others and the wrongs we have committed upon ourselves, breathe in the light. With the ever slowly increasing rays of light, let us align ourselves. We can come out of the darkness as fresh starts, our brightness growing in time with a pattern as old as time. In nature, the light comes back slowly. We can bask in the light, letting it soak into our very own cellular structure. As seeds deep in the cold and dark feel and move toward the warmth of light, so too are troubled souls drawn toward the redemption and comfort of the light. Become the comfort and redemption. Become the light. Know the beauty of the slowness of opening. Become a rose whose soft beauty touches our heart, light. Know the beauty of the slowness of opening. Become a rose whose soft beauty touches our heart light to touch the all within the all. Know the beauty of the slowness of opening. Focus on the energy light brings to us, how it brushes us clean from the inside out. Become aware of the spark that resides within us and nurture it, grow it until the time comes when we become the light, a light that attracts and nurtures others. So be it, blessed be. I pass it back to Renee.
Such a beautiful dedication to Fairly. What a beautiful life she had too. Thank you, my sisters. That was absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to talk to you about Diwali, and I'm going to explain why in just a minute, okay? So Diwali, or the Festival of Lights, is celebrated by the Hindus and marks the beginning of their new year. It's the holiday that celebrates the victory of light over darkness, knowledge over ignorance, good over evil, hope over despair. Now, the deity associated with this holiday is the goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity. But in the context of Diwali, this wealth is what's really about spiritual wealth, right? Now, Lakshmi's name in Sanskrit, it means to perceive, observe, know, understand. So for those who celebrate, Diwali is about dispelling our internal forces of darkness and knowing that we can allow our internal goodness to shine at the same time as we perceive the light of others that's all around us. Now, Diwali is celebrated every year in autumn, and it's after the conclusion of the harvest, and the dates are determined each year based on the new moon. Right in the middle of the 5 days that they celebrate is what we consider our solstice, the darkest day of the year. Now, this year, Diwali was celebrated in early November. So why am I telling you about it now? Because I have a pretty neat story to go with it. And the story that I have to go with it really summarizes my feelings about the light. So, excuse me. I am lucky enough to work with several teams based in India. And I actually manage a team of 2 in Pune. So they've shared their customs with me. That's actually how I found out about Diwali. Now, a couple of years ago, on the final night of Diwali, I had what I term one of my holy grail experiences. You know, those are the really wonderful things that don't happen very often, but when they do happen, you're just in awe of them. So I was lying in bed and I hadn't quite drifted off to sleep yet. I was just kind of lying there and I felt this energy shift. I don't even know if it was a shift. I felt this energy. And then suddenly I physically heard a bunch of Indian voices right in front of me. They were just all these happy, laughing people, and they were laughing and talking. It was like they had stepped in right in the middle of a party. And I did hear the names of a few people that I knew thrown in. Now, I don't know if I was tuning into a celebration that was happening in the physical world or was being visited by spirit who was celebrating in the spiritual world. I'd like to think it's a little of both, that they were kind of celebrating together. But this is the analogy that I always use when I'm telling people this story. It felt to me like I had gone on a business trip to India by myself. And when I stepped off of that plane, there was just this huge bunch of people, family members of my coworkers who had just showed up at the airport to greet me. Not because they'd been asked to, not because they had to, but because they were excited that I was there. And they wanted to meet me and offer me hospitality. And these energies, they didn't ask anything from me. They didn't ask that I pass a message along to their loved ones, although I did tell some of their loved ones about it afterwards. But they seemed to be happy just to be able to reach out to me and share their joy and their celebration. And to me, that's the spirit of Diwali. That's the spirit of light. The spirit that we celebrate this time of year. Love. Light is love. True agape love for everyone. The ability to make people feel loved, to warm them from the inside, to share your joy with others, to pass along that single flame to contribute to a larger one. The light, the love of all. And that's what those energies gave me that night. So that's my Diwali story. And I just have a real quick poem for you, and then we'll get back to our service. This poem's called Christmas. We celebrate light on earth, light that dispels the darkness and illumines our path, not upon a single day, nor for 8 days and nights. Christmas, Hanukkah, Diwali, Kwanzaa, each celebration ushering comfort upon light-filled wings. In the daylight, the stars are still present, but it is the darkness that displays their light. Know ye are the stars, guiding wise men on their journey to witness the birth of love. Love, the Savior, the light, born on each breath between time's touch. When candles and bows have been packed away, that is the time to hearken. The stars still glisten, twinkling to the accompaniment of angelic joy. For 8 million lifetimes and 8 million more, the magic that we celebrate shines eternally. Thank you.